Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel, Life as Monique. How are you guys doing? If you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. This is part 4 of when a BBL goes wrong or BBL gone wrong. It's a very serious topic, and this is part 4 of the story of Sonya. She referred to herself as hard-headed Miami, and in the last video, we saw her finally getting to surgery after getting multiple warnings, but she ignored them. She underwent surgery, ended up coming out of the surgery in excruciating pain, to some aides telling her, hurry up, get dressed, stand up, you got to go because we're closing, and getting to the hotel in excruciating pain, bleeding all over the place, and then having to call 911 for an ambulance. So let's go back to that part where she's talking about her being in so much pain. This is part 4, BBL gone wrong, with hard-headed Miami.
So they rushed me to the emergency room, and Mercy, they did a CAT scan and everything and said, oh, you had a BBL, yeah. You fine. We don't see anything wrong. It's just the pain. So I'm like, okay. So I felt a little better, but I was still in pain. So I got back to the room and just on my knees. I couldn't lay in the bed. I was on my knees, had my face on the bed, just trying to fight this excruciating pain. And then my sister keep telling me, that's how it's supposed to be. I told you it's gonna hurt. You didn't want to believe me. I said, no. I said I could take pain, but this is like, so let's stay in the room for 2 days in pain until it's time for me to go, because I couldn't move my ticket up. So I get on the plane, and then it's still excruciating pain. The flight attendant had to come back there and sit with me the whole flight because he was so concerned. Okay. I get back home. My sister picked me up from the airport, still excruciating pain. She said that's how it's supposed to be. So she gave me pineapple juice and medication and everything. And I'm at home like, okay. It's usually, when you have surgery, day after day, your pain will ease up.
Right.
Not mine. So that night, I couldn't sleep. I was like, oh my God, this is killing me. So the next morning, I told my son to call the ambulance. And he called the ambulance. Rushed me to the hospital, nearest hospital. And I'm on a gurney, laying there waiting for a nurse or doctor to see me, and they're taking forever. So I'm like, I'm trying to grab it. Anybody walk past, like, help me, I'm in pain, it hurt, please help. Nobody would help me. So eventually, I passed out.
My God.
Passed out. So I guess somebody eventually got to me from what I hear. I just remember cutting my clothes with scissors. That's all I remember. And I think I passed back out. And woke up 2 weeks later.
What?
Woke up 2 weeks later. But mind you, while I was asleep, that's a different story for the next video. While I was asleep, when I thought I was dead. But well, 2 weeks later, to my doctors all around me, and I'm looking like, where in the hell am I? What? So I totally forgot being rushed to the hospital and everything. Or it's like, you had a procedure done in Miami, and I'm like, I totally forgot that. The time I was there, I was like, oh yeah, I did. Yeah, but why am I here? It's like, well, the doctor that did that procedure, she punctured your intestines. She stuck 4 holes in your intestines. I'm like, no. I said, y'all got this guy. I had to have a plane accident or something, because she is the GOAT. There is no way.
Told y'all. She punctured her intestines, which is a liability. I do hope that her family members are suing. But anyway, we'll get to that. You see, one of the things that I do know is, she said she started having excruciating pain the first day post-op, and she went back and they did a CT scan. But I don't know, did they do a CT scan of her behind? Maybe not of her abdomen, because a lot of times with the BBL, they take fat from the stomach and they inject it into the buttocks. And that procedure where they're doing the lipo, they can have some punctures with the cannulas. Well, the pain that she was having initially, and what caused the problem was they didn't, in my opinion, didn't take her seriously and diagnose it the first time she went to the hospital. The first time. But what also caused more complication was the delay of her being home for 2 days and people telling her, oh, that's normal. If you feel, you know your body. And when I had complications from my surgery, my ex-husband was sitting there and I was like, we got to go to the emergency now. Because the pain, when I say was over a 10, it was over a 10. And I needed to get to the emergency room. When you have that much pain, there's inflammation, bleeding, pressure, infection, or all of the above. Okay. So she gets she gets home and then has 2 days later for her son to call the ambulance. It's for her to be rushed to the hospital. They have her on a gurney in the hallway. She's holding on for dear life, asking people to help her. We Black anyway, so they think we could take all the pain in the world. And this message is for Dr. Jackie. How dare you? Yeah, that's Dr. Jackie from Married to Medicine, okay? She made some comments about how, people of color, and I'm quoting, how, and this was in her words. I heard her say it. I don't know if it was an episode or she was talking to somebody. And I was very offended by it. Not even about feelings. It was just about how we're not taken seriously. And this is a woman of color, OBGYN, saying some foolishness, in my opinion, to the effect of, oh, well, and I'm paraphrasing, when we ain't take you seriously, because some people, they like to lay out of work, and want us to, write paperwork, so they could lay out of work and what? So what if somebody comes to you and says, you know what? I don't feel good and I'm not going to be able to go to work. Can you fill out this paperwork? Are you kidding me? Some people have what they call hyperemesis, where I digress a little bit, but it's still on the same topic, kind of medical. I had hyperemesis, and my ex-sister-in-law, she had hyperemesis with both of her kids. She was on bed rest the whole time, just throwing up the whole pregnancy, could not keep nothing down. So you're going to tell me that's somebody trying to feign work? I tried to go to work with hyperemesis. How about that? I worked for the New York City Department of Health as a nurse, a school nurse. I was trying to go to work and throwing up all in the office. The head nurse told me, go home. Just go home. Go home because you're sick. You can't work. You're throwing up all over the place. So go home and just have your baby. And I stayed home for the rest of the pregnancy and had my baby. Had I had somebody like Dr. Jackie talk about you feigning work, so there's some doctors, especially some Black doctors, that wouldn't even write you a note or have a problem with writing you a doctor's note if you are ill. Talk about people just want to lay out of work. Really? Anyway, I digress. So back to her hard-headed in Miami. She gets to a home. And for 2 days, she's in excruciating pain to the point where she's on her knees and can't even lie in her bed. That is not normal. And if I were a nurse or her friend, I would have been like, no, ma'am, get to the emergency room right away. Let them do a CT of the abdomen. Let them do a CT of the chest and thorax. And they would have seen the perforation, the fluid. They would have did her blood count. They would have did her white count, and they would have seen she probably went into septic shock. Anyway, she gets to the hospital, gets on the plane. The flight attendant is so concerned, sits there with her the whole time. She gets home and she's in excruciating pain for 2 days. And her sister, her loving sister, tells her that's how it's supposed to be. And she was like, no, when you have surgery, every day it should ease up a little. She's absolutely right. If I'm your nurse and I'm assessing you and you're telling me, nope, my pain is off the charts, I am going to know something is wrong. So finally, she has her son call the ambulance, and she gets back to the hospital. She's on a gurney in the hallway, and the ERs are really, full of people. She said finally she passes out, and the next thing she knows, her clothes are being cut off, and then she wakes up 2 weeks later. What I'm assessing from what I can remember, what I would think happened, she couldn't even remember what happened, but they told her, and I hope they're suing this doctor, okay, the GOAT, the greatest of all time, the woman who was so sleepy and looked like she was about to fall. She's the GOAT. You know what? There's a spiritual component to this, guys, but if you know, you know, okay? There's a spiritual component to this. Anyway, they told her that the doctor who did her surgery after she woke up after 2 weeks perforated her intestines. So what happens is you perforate your intestines, the spillage of the bile and the feces spills into your abdomen, causing infection and sepsis. Sepsis has a 70% mortality. Ask me how I know. But let's go back to what she's saying here, and forgive me for my conviction on this, but let's go back. The GOAT, the one she thought was the bestest doctor in the world. And see, I wish I had more information on this, but I hope her children sees this video. Let's get back to the video.
Way she could have made a mistake, and they was like, yes, you just coming out of a coma, 2-week coma. You was asleep. We had to save your life. You almost died twice on the table. Wow. I had feces inside of my stomach. Yep. I went into septic shock.
Yep.
So the doctor had to perform 3 surgeries on me.
My God.
To keep me alive.
My God.
Highlights going off of roll 407 for 10, 415, 421, and 424.
They went out and told my family 2 times to come see y'all goodbyes because she's not going to make it. Wow. And they sitting here telling me this, and I'm still in utter disbelief because this lady was so good. I never heard anything bad about her. I mean, they call her the GOAT. But she may have been a GOAT to them, but she ruined my life. And in my second video, which I'm going to upload, I tell y'all about the journey after I woke up. This is Hard Head Miami signing out for now. Thank you.
Wow. So the GOAT, the woman that she said had never had any deaths, perforated her intestines, hurried up. She knew she had perforated her intestines. She knew it. In my opinion, my medical opinion, that's why they rushed her up out of there like that. Because that's liable. You're liable. That is a complication that is preventable. That is a complication that if you perforate somebody's intestine, send them to the hospital. No, what they did was hurried up and got her out of there and sent her home. Was it, my belief is, guys, you have to understand, everybody in this world is not ethical. The Lord was trying to warn this woman prior to this happening. And for whatever reason, she did not heed those warnings. What that doctor did was diabolical. It was disgusting how they got up, because it didn't make sense. She was like, there were 2 aides rushing her out of you. Where's the doctor? Where's the nurses? 2 aides telling you to get in the car because they know that it was just a matter of time. She was very strong. Died 2 times. Went into septic shock, was probably on all type of pressors. Pressors are things when you can't maintain your blood pressure. What happens when you go into septic shock? All your you go into organ failure. Everything starts to fail. They put you on lever-fed. They put you on a ventilator. Her heart probably stopped. So this woman literally came back from the brink of death, 2 weeks in a induced coma. Sometimes they have to induce a coma. Her family had to go through all of this. This is as a result of a BBL. A BBL is cosmetic surgery. A BBL is a surgery that is very dangerous. A BBL is one of the most has a very high mortality rate. A BBL is not necessary. So miss me with that when people up here online talk about, oh, you know, you just jealous. You know, I'm doing this because I just never felt good about. No, you doing it because you want attention. You want to look like what somebody else looks like. And we need to understand that we're not going to look like everybody else. We're going to look like what God created us to look like, however we are. I'm not anti putting on some makeup, making yourself look a little spiffy and you know, keeping yourself together. But surgeries like this, where they tell you, well, you know, you got a 50% mortality rate. I'm not going to do it. Just plain and simple. I'm not doing it. Because when you weigh the pros and cons, there's no pro when they tell you, oh, well, you know, you got a 50% mortality rate. It's really, you know, you could. No, it wasn't something that was necessary. Those surgeries, in my opinion, you can say whatever you want because everybody be in all their feelings all the time. OK, people get those surgeries, especially the BBLs, because they want attention and because they have low self-esteem. That is what I believe. It is not, oh, because my body was always this and I always want. Look, everybody's not going to have big breasts. Everybody's not going to have big butts or big thighs. And some women in their 20s, before they even bear children, are getting these BBLs. And do you not know this is a fat transfer? It's an actual transplant. So transplants sometimes reject. Sometimes that fat dies. Those fat cells die because they're not meant to be there. The fat that's in your abdomen is meant to be in your abdomen, not in your butt. Your body knows what's supposed to be where. But see, a lot of these people out here ain't telling you they are going through hell. And there are a lot of people losing their lives over just wanting to look a certain way. And we have to learn to be satisfied with what we have. Okay? We have to be satisfied with what we have. There's nothing wrong with trying to be cute and looking nice and maintaining yourself. But this is something that has a high mortality rate. Let me tell you something. When they're taking that fat out and then they take those cannulas and then injecting it into your butt is the most vascular, meaning it has a lot of blood cells. It's nothing for them to hit an artery or a vein and inject that fat, what they call a fat embolism, and you are gone just that quick. And there are people who lose their life every day by way of a fat embolism. Yeah, they don't want to tell you that. So all of y'all out here miss me with that. I'm doing this because I want to. And then there was some other young lady, and I don't know if she was being sarcastic, but I'll cover that. She called it a Christian BBL. I was like, really? Seriously? Really seriously? Because everybody who goes under for those surgeries, sometimes they don't even wake up, or sometimes they have complications that kill them. So I don't care what people say. I believe, it is my belief, that anybody who gets a BBL, knowing that it's one of the most dangerous surgeries, you don't care about yourself. You care about what people think about you, and you want attention. You want people to look at you. So you would rather risk your life. You will risk your life getting a surgery, leaving behind your family and your friends, leaving behind spouses, all type of stuff for vanity because you want to look a certain way. So if you put it on a scale, well, death, 50% in the most dangerous surgery, or I'm going to have a good body, and people going to be like, yeah, she got a bad body. You choose the bad body. You want to be a baddie. You want to be a bad bee, as they call it now these days. So this is the story, part 4 of my Hard-Headed Miami. I recorded videos on this last year, the beginning of this year. So my next video is going to be about what happened to Hard-Headed Miami. During this week, I did a little research because I wanted to follow up. And many of you guys who've been rocking with my channel under its many names, I would bring you different news topics and different things that were intriguing that so if you're in my life and I'm bringing you in my life as Monique, I share with you topics, stories, the good, the bad, gaining weight, menopause. But this was something that I thought was something we needed to talk about, especially in our community. This woman was in her 40s, and that's a dangerous surgery to start with, let alone I don't care who your surgeon is. I don't care if she's the GOAT or not. I believe this was a spiritual thing that occurred. I believe that the doctor should be looked at, and I hope her family members have a lawyer. But anyway, this is the 4th installment. Let me know what you think about this. You know, I love for you guys to interact in the comments, and I'm going to do a live on this either Sunday or Monday. We're going to do Monday. I'm supposed to do menopause, but I'm going to do a live so we can discuss this together as to what you thought about the video, what you think happened to her. I knew when she said that they rushed her out, I was like, they did something and they wanted to get her out of there. They knew they did something. And to me, that's egregious. It's egregious because you perforate somebody's intestines. 9 times out of 10, the person is going to become septic and die. Is that what you wanted to happen? Goat. If you know, you know. Some people are just wicked and evil, right? But it was the Lord that was speaking to this woman, pretty much trying to warn her before she went and got this surgery. Everything in her, she said, in her body was screaming, don't do it. Because they already knew. The Lord knew this was going to happen. And he was trying to warn her every which way. And she overrode her own internal alarms. But guys, let me know what you think down below. And I'll come back with part 5. Like I said, I went online about 4 or 5 days ago to follow up to see how she was doing. And I got some really horrible news. Stay tuned. Like, share, and subscribe. And hit that little bell. And that way you'll be notified of all my videos. This is Monique. And this is my life as Monique. Peace. And I'm out.